Saturday.
Take our money and shove our advice. Just a day after the Federal Reserve pumps money into Europe, President Obama's top money man reportedly telling European leaders, and I quote, "We still have our challenges in the United States. Our politics are terrible, maybe worse than they are in many parts of Europe. We're not in a particularly strong position to provide advice." Republican Congresswoman Cathy McMorris Rodgers on all of that. Well, then I guess why the heck give it and give money?
Yeah, it is. He's making excuses. It's totally irresponsible. And he's blaming our debt and economic crisis on politic crisis. And truly, he's ignoring the fact that it's the Obama administration, the record borrowing, record spending, the bailouts that have contributed to the economic and debt crisis that we face here in America. And I'm actually, here we as Americans, American taxpayers have been funding bailouts, European bailouts, advocated by Secretary Geithner to continue to support these European Union countries that have borrowed and spent way beyond their means. What we need is pro-growth policies, not pro-big government policies.
But I'm wondering, when Standard & Poor's downgraded our debt, Congresswoman, among the factors it cited was this impasse and the bickering between Republicans and Democrats and just securing the last debt deal, which I believe it called tepid. So does the Treasury Secretary have a point on that front?
I don't believe he does. I believe he's ignoring the real issue here, which is the record borrowing, the record bailouts, the record spending that's been taking place in this country as well as in Europe. And that is what is at the root of our problem. And there is a disagreement here in Congress as to how quickly we can get it under control. But, just recently we had Sarkozy and Merkel over in the European Union advocating for balanced budgets. And Italy is really close to passing a balanced budget. I'd like to think that they're following our lead and the voices here in Congress that have been saying we need a balanced budget in America. We need a balanced budget amendment, and now they're saying Europe should move in the direction of balancing budgets.
Well, things are bad, Congressman, when the French are lecturing us on economic policy, but that's a whole separate show. But, Congressman, I am wondering, what is the Republican position? I know you can't speak for all your colleagues, maybe just in your case. If a European bank were in a lot of trouble, let's say Société Générale comes up, Banca Agricola, another big European bank, they've all been hurting with concerns that they might go belly up. We have a lot of exposure to them, as you know, Congresswoman.
Yes.
Bank of America comes to mind here, that if any of these institutions over there go down, it's going to hit us over here. So it is in our interest to help out. You say no?
Yeah, well, I think that we need to start taking steps immediately to prevent that from happening. But these banks, they're leveraged way beyond 3 and 4 times even what the GDP is.
So you wouldn't do what our Federal Reserve just did. In other words, to join these other central banks in providing a cushion just in case they get into deep doo-doo.
We cannot continue down this current path, and because we have to change course. We have to start taking some steps that will actually get us back in line to where we need to be. Just more spending, more printing of money only digs the hole deeper, as I see it, and that's where the current policies are failing us. And more than anything, what we need to do is get our economy growing. We need to get people back to work. That's the best thing that we could do right now in America and also in the European Union. And the policies that we're advocating is getting the federal government out of the way. The federal government, in too many examples, is the problem.
All right, you have Nicholas Sarkozy on line 1 for you, Congresswoman. Always good seeing you. Have a good weekend. All right, 5 days in a row, the market up every day.